There is a lot of uncertainty that still looms over the much-awaited potential hostage deal, as the Israel-Gaza war is now in its 11th straight week. All eyes are on the United Nations that is due to vote on a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. The vote was delayed on Wednesday, and currently the Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh is still in Egypt on talks for a ceasefire. The Hamas Chief Ismail Haniyeh, who usually stays in Qatar, is engaged in hectic diplomatic parleys with Egypt's intelligence chief Abbas Kamel. So this is what the current scenario looks like at the moment. The Hamas official has said that a total ceasefire and a total retreat of the Israeli forces are a precondition for a prisoner hostage swap. The Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, who is also under a lot of pressure domestically for his mishandling of this entire crisis, has said that there will be no ceasefire in Gaza until Hamas is wiped out.
אנחנו ממשיכים במלחמה עד הסוף. היא תימשך עד לחיסול החמאס, עד לניצחון. מי שחושב שנעצור, פשוט לא מחובר למציאות. לא נפסיק את הלחימה עד להשגת כל המטרות שהצבנו. חיסול החמאס, שחרור חטופינו, והסרת האיום מעזה.
Well, the United States President Joe Biden has said that they are pushing for another hostage deal. There are no expectations at this point, which is why the prospects of a truce deal seem extremely bleak at the moment. For the United Nations Security Council's resolution, Israel has rejected the term ceasefire. And the United States, over the course of the last 2.5 months, has consistently vetoed any resolution that is not acceptable to Israel.
One of the things that's striking to me is that, understandably, everyone would like to see this conflict end as quickly as possible. But if it ends with Hamas remaining in place and having the capacity and the stated intent to repeat October 7th again and again and again, that's not in the interests of Israel.
The United Arab Emirates is sponsoring a draft resolution on the war that, according to reports, has been watered down to secure a compromise. Now, the draft resolution reportedly calls for suspension of hostilities to allow for humanitarian access. It also calls for some very urgent measures for sustainable cessation of hostilities. On the battlefront, Hamas has claimed that an Israeli strike has killed the head of the Kerem Shalom border crossing and 3 others on Thursday, while fighting continues unhindered in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. Now, the United Nations has said that Israel has ordered more evacuations in Khan Yunis, where an estimated 140,000 displaced people had been sheltering. The Palestinian officials say that at least about 12 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli bombings on a home and also on a mosque in Rafah, which is in the southernmost part of the Gaza Strip. 30 Palestinians were also killed in east of Khan Yunis. The Israeli army, on the other hand, claims that it has struck at least about 230 targets in the besieged Gaza Strip in the last 24 hours. According to Hamas, well over 20,000 Palestinians have been killed in this conflict, which includes well over 8,000 innocent Palestinian children and over 6,200 Palestinian women. The United Nations Relief Chief has dubbed it a tragic and a shameful milestone in this war. Meanwhile, the Israeli troops claim to have uncovered a tunnel network purportedly used by Hamas leaders, including Yahya Sinwar and also the Gaza leader of the militant group. The military has released footage showing a large network around Gaza City's Palestinian square. The IDF also claims that it has located weapons from a school complex. 3 Israeli soldiers were killed on Wednesday, taking the death toll of the total number of Israelis being killed. The Israeli soldiers have been killed in this conflict to well over 137. Our correspondent Jody Cohen has been tracking the story very closely for us and has sent us this report from Tel Aviv. Listen in.
Talks are ongoing regarding another pause in the fighting in exchange for the release of some of the 129 hostages still remaining in Gaza. The leaders of Hamas and Islamic Jihad are holding talks in Egypt, and Egypt is reportedly pressurizing Hamas to accept Israel's offer, which they have so far rejected. Meanwhile, the fighting continues, and Hamas Chief Ismail Haniyeh is on the run as Israel Defense Forces say they have twice been close to locating him. The Gulf nations are threatening to stop aid to the Palestinians in Gaza if the war doesn't end by January. However, Israel, the US, UK and Germany have all indicated that a sustainable ceasefire at this stage isn't realistic, with Hamas still posing a threat to Israel. And US Secretary of State Antony Blinken suggested the world should call on Hamas to stop hiding behind civilians and lay down its arms, and that if they did, the war could end tomorrow. This is Jodie Cohen for WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.